Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I was trying to think, like, what am I going to talk about? Kim, what do you guys need? What are you guys working on? Whatever. And actually, I mean, Kim and I did not just talk about that whole introduction, and that's exactly what I came up with about 10 minutes ago, which this is like how I am. I just talk off the cuff, like Kim. We don't really plan what we talk about because we're just passionate people, but um, I was going to talk about how I used to be a quitter. And funny enough, right? Right. And, how like the different roadblocks that I've come across, with coaching and how I've gotten through them. And thinking this time of year tends to be a little bit slower. Hopefully, it will pick up with new products coming out. But for me, it's always been like up here. I've always been my worst enemy. I think too much, I analyze too much, I overthink, want all my ducks lined up. I feel like I need everything to be in place so before I can act. All these kinds of things that I've needed to really work hard on to push through. And the biggest thing has been that mental piece for me. And maybe you guys can relate, but it's huge when you're not 110% confident and strong in your beliefs and strong in your convictions and strong in knowing what this possibility is for you. It can really your mind can play tricks on you, and it's not just your fault. Like, there are naysayers out there. There are people that they're haters or whatever, or they don't believe in Beachbody, or there's too many Beachbody coaches, or they don't get it, and it's those times that we have to really, really go back to ourselves and really feel it and hear as to why we're doing this, and how much we want it. Because those are the times that you can absolutely just get off track. It has happened to me plenty of times. I've had to do things to push myself through those times. One of those things is literally blocking certain people from Facebook that maybe I felt like they never said anything, but I kind of felt the judgment. So I just made sure that they didn't see those posts so that I felt like I could share freely. It was also finding my voice, my non-sales voice, because every time I felt like I was posting, I felt like a salesperson, and I did not want this to be about sales. It never was for me. When I started this, it was because I loved the products. It was because I was getting results. I was a customer first, and I fell in love with the products and, automatically shared that. So it was at that point when people were asking me, what was I doing, that I was sending people to Keith, and that's how the whole thing started. But I didn't like that feeling of all of a sudden now I had this coach hat on and now I had this product to sell, I mean, my husband used to say to me, he'd be like, Nikki, you're in sales. And I'd say, no, I'm not. Like, I did not want to have anything to do with sales, So it took me a while to kind of get out of that mental torment of trying to stay with my own integrity, stay authentic, and at the same time share what I had to share, So for me, the biggest piece is personal development. If you guys aren't doing it, make sure you're doing your personal development. It is seriously the number one thing that has changed my business. Number one, hands down. If I did nothing else, it was that piece that changed everything for me. Because so much of our potential and so much of our action comes from up here, and if we're not equipped mentally, then we can't be our best selves. We can't be our best as a coach, as a leader. And confidence is so huge. You are talking to somebody who has struggled with self-confidence and still does her whole life. I'm an introvert. I'm not shy necessarily. I can talk to anybody. I'm a nurse. Like, that's fine. But my self-esteem I'm the person, I'm my biggest critic. I'm sure, I mean, we all are, right? But to the point where I won't leave the house sometimes, like bad. Um, so where was I going with that? What was I talking about? Balancing sales and my integrity, keeping with my integrity. That was like the biggest thing. Personal development helped me to really find my own voice. It really helped me clarify what I wanted out of life. It helps me clarify and remind me that things that are worth it take time. It gives me skills, which gives me confidence, you know. And I was going where I was going with that was confidence is like one of those things that's so see-through, you know. Other people can totally sense that. And if you're feeling all nervous and anxious and desperate and you need points because it's the end of the month and oh my God, you're at 3 successful points and you need 2 more and people can sense that, you know what I mean? And it took all of this work on myself to take a deep breath, you know, and to realize that it's not it's not about me, it's about them. And to really truly believe that, because that is a huge turning point when you can put your focus on others without expecting anything in return, without saying, you know, it's, you have 3 successful points. It's the 25th of the month and you are freaking out because your goal is to get Success Club 5. And how do you balance that in your head? You know, like you want something, you have a goal, but yet you don't want to come off as being pushy and you don't want to like push people. So how do you do that? You know, and it really, it's the other piece of this whole thing that I've learned is this whole business is about networking. It's about building relationships and it's about planting seeds. And it's really the most important thing like that you can do is just know that every single interaction that you have with somebody is a potential for at some point, but that's not what your focus should be. You know, your focus should be on making new friends. Your focus should be on helping a few people a month. You know, your focus should be on not the points. Use your points, use Success Club, use rank, use that kind of stuff as a benchmark to how you're doing. But focus on the activities that you're doing every day. Focus on, make sure that you're talking to people. Make sure that you're open to hearing what other people are saying and their needs. Keep your eyes open, your ears open. All of your senses need to be open. You know, you need to have an open mind to any possibility. And you also need to have confidence and faith that people are coming to you for a reason. You know, they could go to anybody. There are enough Beachbody coaches out there that they could go to, but for some, you know, for some reason they are coming to you, and the reason for that is because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. Have confidence in that, you know, have confidence in that, and take a step back, take a deep breath, and just kind of take a pause, lead with integrity, with authenticity, not with an end goal in mind, you know. I think I already said it, but people are not points. You know, people are people. And what is so bad about meeting people and about, you know, building new relationships, even if you don't get a Success Club point out of it, right? People provide value to each other in different ways. It doesn't have to be like maybe they just made you smile that day. Maybe they said something to make you feel good. Maybe you did the same for them. You know, that is like life force. Like that is just, that keeps things going, you know? So just focus on providing value to people. Try to take the focus off of points and rank, but still know that even if you're going to focus on value and focus on giving and that kind of thing, you still do need to do the work. And it's the little mundane, boring things that you need to be doing every day in order to stay consistent and on the right path. And I am the worst offender at not doing that, or in the past have not done that. And a huge, huge, huge difference. There's a reason why they have, like, the vital behaviors written out like the way they do. There's a reason why there is a power hour, because those stupid little things that are so easy not to do are the things that are going to grow your business. And you're not going to see it right on week 1 or week 2. You're going to see it a few months down the road. I mean, everybody's different, like every person that you talk to is different. Some people, when they're ready, they're just ready. They say, give me a link. Let's go. Let's do this. You posted one thing and they're off and running. Other people, it takes years. I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and it amazes me that now that I can see the benefit in all those seeds that I've planted and the integrity that I've kept, I can say without a doubt, like, there's never been one point in my business that I've felt that I've lost integrity. And I promised myself from day one that I wouldn't. That was way too important to me. So it matters. Like, it builds up, it adds up. And these people are learning who I am through Facebook. That's sort of my portfolio. And does that sound, what's the word, disingenuous or not authentic, by sort of posing my Facebook page as my portfolio? No, I mean, I don't think of it that way. I think of it as, sure, I want to present my best self. I don't want to be sitting there bitching and moaning about something. You know what I mean? That's not who I am anyway, but pick a friend to do that with instead of on Facebook, and then also, it wasn't a place for me to go sell to people and to chase people. And one of the things that I love, one of the quotes is, attract, don't attack. So, use that as your sort of mantra, like, attract, don't attack, attract, don't attack, and it's sort of like, okay, you want to bring people to you, you want to pull people in. You want people to get to know you, get to like you, to trust you, and you want to be interested in them and build relationships with them. And the natural things will start happening. Yes, you do have to do the work. Like I said, you have to be willing to put yourself in an uncomfortable position, but not to the point where it's so awkward that both you and that other person feels awkward. You know what I mean? You still need to be yourself. But you do need to, go for what you want. You need to be consistent with your actions. What other things? Oh, another thing that I had to do is, with the naysayers and the comparison and all that stuff, was, I tell my coaches this all the time. I say, put the blinders on. If you are someone that is going to compare yourself to another coach and feel defeated, or if you're going to compare yourself to another person, whatever, put your blinders on. Don't get sidetracked by what other people are doing or not doing. Just do what you need to do, and just focus on that. There are going to be slow times. There are going to be slumps. There are going to be setbacks. Use them as opportunities to learn and to grow. Don't let it set you back to the point where you're thinking about quitting like I was. I mean, maybe that was part of my journey, and I needed that, kind of reality, because it made me realize that, oh, wait a second, I don't want to give up on this. This is my passion. I love what I'm doing. So, but definitely I take it in stride better now when I have little setbacks, or, I miss a goal or something like that. I think of it as part of my learning experience. And I think of every single time that I've had a setback, it's always, as long as I've approached it in the right way, as long as I've worked through it, because you have to, it's the only way to get through it is to work through it and to push through it. But when I do, every single time, amazing things happen on the other side of it. It's crazy. It's like you have this time where you're like, oh my God, am I meant to do this? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should quit. I don't know. I can't get anybody to buy a challenge pack. I don't know, whatever the case, And my friends are defriending me on Facebook. I went through that too. But it taught me something. My friends don't defriend me on Facebook anymore because I don't sell on Facebook like I did in 2011. In 2011, I looked back the other day and I looked at all my posts, and it was all corporate blasts. It was all like, hey, have you ever wanted this? Have you ever, it was all like sales language and corporate blasts. And, I had one good friend who said to me, you're not showing your full self. You're not being real. All of Nikki, Nikki is so much more well-rounded than what you're portraying on Facebook. And it made me realize, that I was doing that. I was being very one-sided and not showing who I am, all around. So those are the big things. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they've been struggling with, that maybe I've struggled with too, that I can help you guys through? Lisa. I can't unmute you though.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
You and Carl just did it at the same time, Kim.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Nikki, what is, for personal development, that's an area I'm struggling with right now because I just can't seem to find anything that is grabbing me. What is one book that you would suggest?
Have you read The Go-Giver yet?
No.
That's a loaded question for Nikki Filosa.
I'm looking, where are my books? Books.
I went through a streak where I read a ton, and lately I've been kind of defaulting to either podcasts or videos because I just haven't, I don't know, I just haven't been reading, and I know I need to.
You have to read The Go-Giver, Lisa.
Okay.
I'm making you.
All right.
I don't know what I just did. I just had it out too. But it's by Bob Berg, and then he has a follow-up called The Go-Giver Sells More. Okay. And it's pretty funny because it's not about selling at all. I mean, it's about sales, but you'll see what I mean. It's just, that book changed my entire way of coaching.
That's what I need.
I read it in 3 days.
Okay.
So that says a lot for the book.
It's a good book. Yeah. What other kinds of things do you need to what kind of things specifically are your hang-ups?
Me?
Yeah.
My consistency sucks. I'm definitely have trouble with consistency. I'll get on a good couple weeks of doing really, really well and, doing my 30-day push and doing my lifts and all that stuff. And then it just falls apart because or whatever. And I know that's part of my, and then I get defeated. Last month was just an awful month. And you get that by the end of the month, you're screw it. I'll wait till November or whatever. So it's, I get in my own way. Same thing.
Yeah. And I would too. And, luckily Keith is my sponsor, right? So he taught me to never say never. He's the one that taught me not to, what you think, you know what I mean? That whole magnetism thing. I mean, it is so true though. If you're at the end of the month, you need to say I am gonna do this. It has to be there. It has to, and you have to believe it 110%. And you can make it happen. It's crazy, but you absolutely have to. It has to be up here, But read if you haven't read The Slight Edge or The Compound Effect. Both of those are really good with the consistency piece because it'll give you a new perspective. Have you read those?
Yeah, I have read those.
Okay.
Now, Nikki, I think you do a really, really good job on Facebook. What are some things you found that work really well? You always have pictures. I don't think I've ever seen a bad picture of you in general anyway. You always have cute pictures. But what you always do, I love your posts on Facebook. You always do a really good job. What are some tips? And how do you expand your network, I guess? Kinds of things.
The thing about Facebook and the thing about selling and building a network is most of it is done behind the scenes for me. And this I've learned through other coaches. This wasn't, I thought when I first started, it had to be people had to know what I had to offer. You know what I mean? How could they not, how would I get people to buy Shakeology if I wasn't blasting Shakeology all over the place, right? Doesn't that make sense? They have to see it. But if you notice, I hardly, I think I posted Pio today, but I barely ever, I hardly ever need to post that kind of stuff because what I do is I build relationships behind the scenes, and then it's amazing how many people are following you and watching you, and they'll say, oh, I've been following you. Are you still doing such and such? Or, I mean, you have to have it out there that you do it, but there's definitely a way to do that. And the way that I do it is the first thing I do is when I'm posting, I always say, do I have an agenda? Because if I feel like I have an agenda, then other people are going to feel like I have an agenda, you know? So that's the first thing I always ask myself when I post. And I have erased posts and reposted, like, you know, if I feel like ick about it, I won't post it. I try never to post a corporate picture, only my own, and try to make everything my own. Basically, the thing with Facebook is that you want to be sharing your story so that people are getting to know you. You know, they do need to know that you're a coach. And if you want your business to grow, the biggest thing I did was to start showing who I was as a leader. You know, not just someone with a product, but as a leader to my team. And that made a big, big difference. You know what I mean? Like showing that aspect of who I was. And at first it was kind of hard because I still had doubts, you know, about whether or not I could do it. I wasn't sure, you know, I didn't have full belief in myself, you know, but I had to push myself and say, no, you are a leader. This is what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like you need to just get out there, you know, and claim it, own it, you know? So that was another thing that has helped me. But yeah, like all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. So building those relationships and talking to people over time is huge, you know, and then being able to, at the right time, ask them if they're interested in a free group, you know, because I always start there, build relationships there, ask them if they want to join a challenge group, you know what I mean? Or, you know, just mention to them that you have, you know, I'm not sure if you're interested, but I have this such and such going on, you know. I'm one of the coaches that, I don't know if this is not helpful, but I don't require my participants to order Shakeology. I don't require a challenge pack, but I'm very confident about Shakeology. From, if you guys haven't heard Shay Stanford speak, you need to listen to her. So I'm very, very confident in the value of Shakeology and how helpful it is and how it's going to help them. So it's easy for me now to talk about that, like together as a package. I also do have some documents that I put together so that when people are interested in Shakeology, let's say, it also has, I give them the pricing in document form. I don't talk about it because I'm an oversharer, you know? So if I go to talk about, I'm just going to mess everyone up, you know? So just forget it. I made a document. It's pretty. I have all the prices highlighted, but it's also comparing, you know, one-time order, HD order as a coach, challenge pack. I put that in the bottom and they can see like, oh, challenge packs start at 140. Well, look at that. Like a one-time order is going to be 152 with like, what? No brainer. You know what I mean? But yeah, it all comes back down to confidence though, and just being real, being interested in other people, talking to people. Who am I building relationships with? I build relationships with people from Social Graph. Like I do that sometimes, not a huge amount of time, but I will look at who we're close friends with, or every season I seem to make sure I add people from school, you know what I mean? Like parents or the kids' teammates' parents, things like that, as I'm building relationships in school and that way. And then also using Social Graph, like I said, like, for example, if you click in that bar and you put in, I went to camp, YMCA, Pleasant Valley Camp when I was little, right? So I put that in. I found a ton of old friends, you know, that I've kept in contact with that way. So things like that. Did that answer your question? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Bill, what were you going to say?
Actually, how are you, Nikki?
Hi, Bill.
I was actually going to ask pretty much the same question that Lisa asked about the Facebook posting, how you come up with some of that stuff and everything. But what was your turning point because I've been stuck for a while, and it just seems, every time the team starts growing, it drops back down, and it's growing, it's dropping back down, and I've been in that same place for a long while, and really trying to put a big push on it this winter to get out of that rut and get moving forward again and help my team move forward as well, or our team.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. And I think like I'm actually it happens to everybody, right? I mean, it just does. But the thing that's helped me is to really reach out one-on-one and find out exactly what they need. It's not one of those like clear cut things. I don't know exactly. I think the things that have helped my team to push to that level is to help them get excited, to create a culture, a family culture, like within my team. That is so important to me, that like I want my team to feel like this is like their second family. You know what I mean? Like I want them to really feel like they're a part of it. Because for me, like when I started, it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about anything except I wanted to be a part of this. Like that feeling of when you're on a team, there's nothing better. So that kind of stuff. Prizes don't work with my team to get them motivated. Not at all. Recognition does. And then the other thing that's really helped me is just to elevate them. Like allow them more, asking them, delegating things to them and asking them to take on certain roles, because I can't anymore. Like, it's like, there's too much to do. There's too many groups to run and whatnot. So my team's starting to like, do things on their own, which is huge because that builds momentum. But yeah, it's just, for me, like, I was like, okay, I am stuck at Diamond. I've been Diamond for like 2.5 years, 3 years, right? I was like, how am I going to do this? I had to believe that I could do it, because I was not. And I was not acting like a leader, you know what I mean? So that's my own personal thing. So I had to like really work hard on the inside. And then just lead by example and get people excited and share my passion. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
It is.
No, that helps. I just didn't know if there was like some little thing that clicked at one point that just, turned you around and said, okay, this is what I got to do.
Lead by example. I mean, I think that things that were holding myself back, I think, were bailing on certain things, not fully leading from the front.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like I was making excuses for certain things, or not doing the things that I should be doing every day. I just think that like adds up. I don't know. For me, it was when I finally like just said, if you're going to do this, you need to do it, Another thing that helped though too, Bill, was like talking to as many different leaders as I could.
Yep.
And really like finding, because everybody's style is so different. We all have different ways of doing things. We all have different belief systems, different values, whatever. So it was really like pulling in different little nuggets from all different kinds of people and letting that sort of mold me into who I am, and knowing that not every person that I come in contact with is going to be right for a product or right for coaching, but really working hard with the people that were showing enthusiasm and showing interest and working hard and just focusing on them, because then it like builds that momentum and other people want to follow suit,
Thank you.
And telling people that, like, I think I told my team, I was like, you walk, I walk, you run, I run, like, not to be mean, but I will follow your effort for sure. That helps.
It does. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else need personal development? And guys, if you start nowhere else, start with the National Wake Up Calls every single week. If you can do nothing else, just do it. It's on podcast. You can listen to it in the car. You can listen to it later without the commercials in the front. I always call it the commercials. Like all the recognition stuff, you can fast forward it, when you have it recorded. I don't listen to it live because I can't stand that stuff. That's rude, but I I can't. I just have to like get to the meat of it. So I listen to it on podcasts, and I put one earbud in while I'm driving or whatever. If I'll put it on speaker when I'm like doing the dishes or something. But it always helps. There's always something that I get out of it every single time. And also, one other thing is, just be in it for the long haul. Because if you think of like this as a 1, 2, 3, or you think like this is going to happen tomorrow kind of thing, you stress yourself out and you put so much pressure on yourself. But when you go, no, I'm in this, like, I can't wait to see what's down the pike. I'm just going to keep building and keep talking and keep working hard and keep working on myself. And I know it's going to come together. I'm not like, I may be almost foresight qualified, but there are plenty of people who started after me that are like blowing past me in this business, but we do things differently and we have different personalities, and I need to be okay with that. And I need to be okay with how I'm behaving and how I'm acting every day and who I am as a coach, and I know that I am not giving up. I'm in this for life. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something I'm giving up on. So the time's going to pass anyway. Do the things that I need to do every day. Don't worry about, like a quick fix, quick agenda kind of thing, because it builds up over time. And when you'll have like these little like bursts, where things they start to pick up, and then it'll like even out for a while, and then it'll pick up, and then it'll even out for a while. But over time, my God, you look it back and you're like, whoa, what happened there? Just gotta stick to it.
Agreed. Definitely. I think that if you all took anything from this and from the guest speakers that we've had in the past, Greg, Nicole, there's one thing that's chiming, and that's personal development. And that's how good I am at it.
I knew you'd like that, Kim.
Huh?
I knew you'd like that, Kim.
I know.
It's hard. And no, you guys, I did not do it at the beginning. I was like, whatever. I didn't get on calls. I was like, whatever. Like, I don't need that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see the value in it. I didn't have strong enough reasons either. That whole why piece is huge, because it doesn't have to be to make $1 million. Your why can be that you feel proud every day. Your why can be whatever speaks to you. It doesn't have to be, the book that I recommended was The Go-Giver by Bob Berg.
It's a fast read.
It's fast. I read it
on the treadmill
on the couch, like in a day. I couldn't stop. At first it starts off a little slow. You're like, what the heck is going on? Just keep pushing, like, oh my gosh. Best book.
Nikki's a reader, if you guys didn't figure that out.
But I wasn't. I like to read way in the past, like when I had time, but now I have 3 kids and my focus is not on being able to sit down and read. Like, there's just other things I feel like I need to be doing or want to be doing. But once you get the momentum going with personal development and you really start to see the effects of it, then you're like, I am not stopping, because it really works. Like, it really helps you,
Yep.
Especially if you're someone that gets in your own way.
So personal development, that's pretty much what the takeoff is for everybody. Get to reading, into listening, right? Great.
I would say my favorites, you have to read GoPro so that you can understand the business, right? Because when you understand how it all works, then you can feel more confident when you're talking about the business or when you're, for whatever, just confidence in what you're doing in the first place, and knowing that network marketing isn't a 4-letter word. Because I think at first, a lot of us are kind of like, we're not sure. You have other people, that make you doubt what you're doing, and there's nothing wrong with network marketing. Compound Effect, I mentioned, The Slight Edge, The Go-Giver, you have to read. Have to. If you're looking to clarify your goals, which will help with your why. The desire map is really good. If you're lacking confidence, you are a badass is awesome.
That's a big one out right now. A lot of people
Yeah.
reading that one.
It's so good. Yeah.
It's a yellow cover.
Yep. What else? If you need focus, the one thing was really good. And get it in paperback. Don't get it in or get it in like real copy. Don't get it in Kindle because it has pictures and stuff. Anything by John Maxwell is good for leadership, especially. And then like anything that speaks to you, like, so for me, I personally struggle with, it's a good one, definitely. I personally struggle with getting off track, like my own stuff, you know, my own eating, my own whatever, like this whole change of my lifestyle thing, I struggle with. So that's on my list. I've got that one too. Start with why. That one's coming up soon. So I read books about like how to change, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I have a book called Change Anything. Wicked good. There's so many. You guys can you can message me. I've read so many books, it's ridiculous. So right now I'm reading The Magic of Thinking Big because I need to work on up here still. Like, you know, I'm always going to. We're all going to need to, you know. But I have huge goals, you know, and it's like, if I'm sitting here going, yeah, but that's not going to happen, then it's not, you know? So I need to really work on that piece. You know, if I really want something or if I really have a big, huge goal, like I need to be able to really, truly believe it can happen. Right, Kim?
Correct. I need to believe that I'm going to get better.
You are going to
tell you. It's not easy, guys. And this is a huge learning lesson for me, to be knocked down like I'm knocked down and I'm going to cry. Because it's hard.
You can do it, Kim.
It's hard to have your whole world taken away. And to walk is hurtful. But I still believe in this company and I believe in everything that it can give me. That I do. You know? And I believe in everybody. I really do. And this is one of the hardest tests that I've ever been through. You know, when my back went out last year, I knew I could overcome that because I've done it before. You know, getting on stage, I knew I could do that because literally it was diet and I could do that. But I have no control over anything right now. You know, and not knowing what's wrong is so scary. But I believe in this company and I believe in the products and I believe that this is going through this is like under a silver lining somewhere. And I really think the big of it is that I need to get out of my job because it's like silently killing me to be in 85 places at one time. And I'm tired. And I'm just totally gone off track now. Sorry. But you all can do it. I never thought 4 years ago I'd be where I am today. Ever. And I never thought I'd have the support that I have from people that I don't even know. You know, I have people praying for me that I've never met in person. That I feel like I know them. Like there's many of you I haven't even met in person, and yet I feel like I know you. I feel like we could sit in this kitchen or sit in your bedroom, and Adele sit in your bedroom where your bed is, and, you know, Lisa and Carl on their couch, you know, and I feel like we know each other and that we've known each other for a long time. And that is what Nikki means by people aren't numbers. People aren't Success Club points. People are people. And we're in it together to help each other through not just Shakeology or workout, but like make it through these type of times. Because I'd be in a really bad place if I didn't know that you all were behind me. And I am in a bad place, but even worse if I knew that, oh my God, I don't have anybody. And I didn't have many people 4.5 years ago, and now I do. So I hope you all know that. I hope you all know that this is bigger. This is bigger than just a Success Club point. This is bigger than just, a scam, if that's what people want to call it. It's about building relationships and building friendships that can pick you up out of the worst of times. And I thank you all for doing that. Nonetheless. Anyway, thank you, Nikki. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having
And
me.
I love you too.
I love you.
Go out there, get some personal development on, man. And we will all talk next week. Same time, same place. And I have recorded this, so it will be up on the page, hopefully within the next few minutes. All right. Peace out, homies.
Bye.
I love you.